Three friends, one amazing series of YA novels, an insatiable thirst to relive the glory that is K.A. Applegate's literary masterpiece. This is Animorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
Hello, and welcome to the Dork-Bajir Chronicles, a podcast where we read through the Animorphs series one book at a time, then talk about it every week. Today we'll be talking about Animorphs number 32, The Separation. My name is Mikael, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Brayden, the sexually frustrated third Rachel that got cut out, but not put back in.
And if I sound different, it's because I'm just the regular frustrated Rachel whose mic decided to not connect because fuck you, I guess.
My energy is kind of all over the place because I'm secretly Rachel's dad.
Wait, so you're our dad?
Oh, dip is a whole new twist in the dynamic. Ba-pew.
We have a Time Matrix canon where we're all each other's dads. Okay.
Oh, man.
Let's first start off with some fan mail.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
First piece of fan mail comes from @TigerWolf. It's an oldie but a goodie from last September. It's a gif of an owl walking.
It's cute.
It's very cute, actually. It's like tiptoeing, kind of. Nothing cuter than sneaky owl legs from the Daily Owls account on Twitter. So thank you for sharing that.
Very sneaky.
Next one is also owl-themed, sort of, in that it was the Owl City account. The band Owl City? I don't remember Owl City from like ages ago.
Holy shit. Did they listen to the podcast?
No,
Oh.
It was retweeted at us by @FontainePen. And it's just some weird outtake from one of their music videos or something, but it's a bald eagle, and it's like there's like just off screen a prop guy or a photographer guy or something adjusting this like luxurious blonde wig on the bald eagle.
Somebody has replied to this GIF, the original GIF from Owl City,
Yeah.
saying, "Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, eagle with blonde hair."
Thought you'd like that.
And I love that. It's very good.
And then @FontainePen says, Rachel Midmorph? ?
I believe it. They talk about sometimes their hair being the last thing to get sucked in, like spaghetti into a hungry maw.
It's extremely attractive, regardless of...
It's like, I see why Tobias wants to smash that.
I never noticed that spaghetti talk part, but okay.
Maybe it comes up in one of the later books, but I know for sure they've talked about spaghetti hair shooting into the scalp, like spaghetti being eaten.
Books are art, hair is spaghetti. Come on, fucking Brayden, keep up.
Don't quote the deep magics to me. I was there when they were written.
Oh, speaking of grips of a starfish, has anybody seen that video of a starfish walking?
No.
They
I don't think
basically
anyone was
lift
speaking
themselves
of
up.
that.
And one of them kind of went viral last summer on Twitter, but basically starfish lift themselves up on tiny little feet that look a little bit like enoki mushrooms. The really skinny mushrooms. It's basically a bunch of thin white hairs come out of the bottom of the starfish and wiggle around, and that's what it walks on.
Interesting.
And it's horrifying. It's bad. It's a bad sight to look at.
I hate that so much.
It's
Okay.
not cute. Can you imagine that crawling all up your leg? Like, wow.
I can.
That's the problem, is that I can. Yeah. Speaking of something crawling up my leg, Brayden.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to Brayden's ASMR summary.
No.
Do the listeners deserve this? Like, have they earned it yet? Or is that going to be behind a paywall?
So
Well, they already heard the fucking ASMR nightmare that was last book.
I think we want to save the ASMR. Let's save it for, like, book 42. Ooh, book 42 is a great one for ASMR.
Oh, God.
Rachel loses an earring at the beach on a field trip.
My
She
God.
is already in a swimsuit, so she figures, I'm a morph something that can get down there in the dirty old water, and I'm gonna find that little earring. Yes, I am. So she morphs a starfish, which is like, can you morph, like, you have other things. You've gotta have other things. You could morph, like, even an eagle, and you'd be able to see, like, down better. You could do that instead. But, that wouldn't make the plot happen. She morphs a starfish, and gets the earring, and then gets out, and then is chopped in half by a kid with a shovel.
That's
Which,
pretty
like,
good.
that's fucking sadistic. Who's watching this child just torture animals?
I once started, like, breaking these sort of old-looking shells on a beach once. And then, like, I didn't notice at first, but then one or two started bleeding. And, it turns out they weren't, like, they were really far into the mainland. I didn't notice that these weren't just, like, empty shells I was, like, tossing off the rocks for fun.
No.
What they ended up being was small children's heads that you were just stepping on.
Yes. And that's how I found the body cachet of Ted Bundy.
Brayden, no!
No, but yeah, there was just, like, clams still inside these clams.
Oh, man.
Like, they're disgusting, weird, meaty bodies. Okay, so she gets cut in half, and directly afterward, our point of view Rachel starts acting weird. I'm not gonna bury the lead here. Both halves of the starfish actually turn into separate Rachels, and one of them is, like, sort of ditzy and overthinks things and is very sensitive, and the other is, like, a fucking firebrand and wants to fight every fucking body. And, Rachel starts thinking about this, like, dude that she saw earlier on the beach and is like, I was so rude to him. I should go on a date with him to say sorry, but that would make Tobias feel bad. Oh my
I like this voice.
God.
Carry through with this voice the whole time.
I
Because that
don't
is so
know
close
what
to what I
do.
imagined her voice being.
Yeah. But can I just, like, say, like, Rachel, I feel like it was well in your right to be rude to that guy, because he kept staring at you and saying, looking good, Rachel. Looking real good. And it's like, I know he's a 13-year-old boy, but, like, come on. Don't be gross.
Although but at the same time, like, see, the opening thing is she drops the earring and then wants to morph. So she decides to deliberately, like, badger him into leaving. So at first he's just, like, on that part of the beach. So she's just like, hey, fuck off and get away from my beach. And he's just like, I'm not gonna fuck off and get away from your beach. And she's like, no, you are, you little shit nose. And he's like, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. You look great.
She looks around, nobody's really nearby, and she strips down to her morphing leotard, and then he comes over and is just, like, looking at her, and is like, yeah, looking good, Rachel. You're looking real good.
That's not what I got. It was like, it's just like a beach a bunch of people are walking all around, and then when it's inconvenient for her, she decides to berate this guy for being on the beach.
But, like, another thing, she fucking morphs on a crowded beach.
Yeah, that was a pretty egregious.
This book is so bad for public morphing. Like, you thought book 28 was bad, where they just did it in the middle of traffic and had cars literally honking at them.
Or the very last scene, or the second to last scene, where they morph in front of Visser 3.
In this book? This book is full of them. I was just meaning, like, this book is the worst overall in terms of public, morphing and demorphing. Book 28 was close because they had the monkey scene where they were morphing monkeys in the middle of traffic. But, like, this one's way worse because of, we'll get to it. But it's awful. I want to yell at these kids. No wonder you're so stressed out all the time. Stop flaunting your magic powers.
If you got it, flaunt it. Anyway. So they, the Rachels get home and they find out that, it's at this point they discover that Eric has, discovered that the Yeerks are making an anti-morphing ray. It's not very well described what exactly that will be, although it's sort of the MacGuffin of this story that doesn't really matter much. We'll get into that. It's almost comedic. This is like a Brooks Brothers script in a lot of ways. I am probably thinking of the wrong thing. I don't know
You're thinking of the Coen brothers.
Oh, okay. Fuck. Let's just do this. Let's just do this, guys. Fuck me. Okay. So, they get out. They find out about the anti-morphing ray. They meet up they decide to go to a meeting at the barn, but, they have some time to fuck around before. One Rachel ends up going and flying with, Tobias and eats a fish whole and is just, screaming I'm alive! You're not! Ah! Ah!
Yeah, it's
and
accurate.
the girly Rachel just goes shopping and then gets lightly bullied by some older, bigger, darker girl. And
Oh.
hey, I never said I'd hold back on my hot takes. I'm too brewskied up for that shit. And runs away crying, even though Cassie is like, oh no, Rachel, don't fuck her up. No, Rachel, don't. No, don't do it. And then she runs off into the corner and she's like, hey, but you're not Rachel. There's something going on, obviously, so they suspect Yerks. So they take her to the barn, they do a little bit of an interview on her, and one of the great little points here is the thing that really convinces her, holy shit, there's something wrong with Rachel, is is Cassie says to her, Rachel, tell me what you told me about Marco. I don't know, he's cute, I guess.
And funny,
and funny, and I like that guy. And Marco falls down, and he he just saw Regan turn around in The Exorcist, and he's like, oh god, they've got her!
his heart stopped from fear, and also all of his blood in his entire body rushed to his penis.
Yeah.
So
it's mine.
a confusing mix of both, and he just falls directly over.
I mean, okay. I feel like the person who wrote this, really barely read half of one Animorphs book.
You know what's funny, though, is that this one was written by K.A. Applegate.
Really? That's so sad.
This is, from what I know of the story, maybe I'm wrong, please everyone, come at me on Twitter, but from what I know, it was, they gave the outline to the ghostwriter, and then something happened, maybe they weren't clear, or maybe the ghostwriter just really fucked up, but it was wrong, and there wasn't enough time to get the ghostwriter to do another copy, so Catherine and Mikael themselves, they wrote this one.
Okay, see, that actually makes more sense, because as someone who's taken a lot of writing workshops where you have to write fiction for class, and it's university. Not everyone does their homework with enough time to do it reasonably well. This feels like someone who scribbled it on a piece of paper 30 minutes before class started.
Although I do I think I was saying this maybe before we started recording. I did like the level of commitment they went to with the mean, wild, crazy Rachel is mean, wild, and fucking crazy. And, the diminutive, dumb one, ditzy one is dumb, diminutive, and ditzy.
Yeah, but how is that, I don't know. We can talk about it more after. Maybe we should just get through the plot.
I fucking liked it, Mikael. Don't try to come at me with this evil.
Okay, so now Eric has talked about the anti-morphing ray, which is a surprise tool that will come up later, don't worry.
Yeah, they're not allowed. Jake, Marco, and all the rest say hey, don't come on this mission. You're obviously fucking dangerous. So they are left behind in Rachel's room, just freaking out at each other, and the diminutive one is cuddling her teddy bear and talking about, we should call Daddy. And the mean one is no! We should go and fucking fuck up a dog! A whole pack of dogs!
Wait, I think I know why Brayden likes this one now.
Yeah,
he relates too much.
He read it and was finally a character that speaks to me.
There are two wolves inside of every man.
You see, we never got a book from David's perspective, and that's why this is his new favorite book.
Yeah, they even draw later, direct comparison to David.
I'm not David! I'm not gonna get nauseated!
Anyways.
Yeah, so the mean one decides that she wants to go fuck shit up. She goes to the building. It's like a product testing facility for consumers called like the BRI, and she just decides to go and just drive through the fucking wall. Literally, she morphs into a bear, scares the dude out of a truck, and then drives the truck through a wall, and then sees a fucking Mercedes, and then decides to drive that through a bunch of walls and Dork-Bajir, and totally fucks up the mission.
It's so cool.
Is it?
I thought it was pretty cool. Meanwhile, the dumb one is back at home trying to figure out, who should I tell about this? I know. I'm gonna call Daddy. And she calls her dad and is just like,
awful.
Daddy, I have such a problem and I don't know what to do. And her dad's like, what is it? It's like, it's a boy? And she's like, it's 4 boys! 5 boys if you count the last one, but I don't think he does really count. He's not a boy, you know? Are you fucking a dude in college? What? No, I mean he's an alien. Oops. Yeah, my maid's an alien. She's from the Ukraine. Alright. I'm sorry, this is just turning into like my dramatic reading, but I really did appreciate that, like, they just put their balls on the wall with this one.
Sure.
And the scary one comes back, and like immediately after we close on like pretty much the middle of an action scene, and she comes in just yelling like, "They kicked me out! I saved their asses and they kicked me out!" Which is really what reminded me of a Coen Brothers movie, that like there's action, but it's like when they decide like we don't need this action, they just like will cut to whatever's after it. And just, like, having established enough, like, violence and what's going on, they'll just, like, go and, like, okay, well, she's gonna, naturally explain it in the scene anyway, so let's just not show it twice.
Yeah, which is great, because, like, she wakes up, nice Rachel, who's fallen asleep on the floor cuddling a teddy bear. She wakes her up, rips the arms off this teddy bear, and then talks about how in battle, when she was a bear, she got her own arm ripped off, but instead of being a useless bear lying on the ground, she grabbed her own severed arm and beat the Dork-Bajir to death with it. And, like, that's just such a good way to describe Animorphs. Like, a 13-year-old girl gets her arm ripped off, takes it away from the bad guy, and beats the bad guy to death with it. Like, hell yeah.
Technically, a single day old girl.
Oh
my
god.
Damn.
Anyway, so they decide that the mean Rachel is like, I'm gonna fucking kill Jake! I'm gonna take his fucking head! I'm gonna smash it in with a rock! I'm gonna fuck everything up! And I'm gonna kill God! Good night, bitch! And then, was it, like, wimpy Rachel is like, oh, fuck. She's gonna kill me next.
Not unreasonable.
Yeah, exactly. So, the next day, where was I? Yeah, Eric is back at the barn and tells them, while mean Rachel is, like, spying on them as a fly, is like, hey, so you guys really dropped the ball on that one. So here's what the Yerks are going to be doing. They're going to be taking 3 trucks, and they are going to be sending them in different directions, and only one of them will have the actual anti-morphing beam on it. So we need to make sure that we have a plan to follow all 3 of those trucks and get the beam out of whichever one is in it. Okay, yeah, here's the plan. Okay, let's do that. Hey, let's talk about these 2, crazy people who are currently kind of attached to us, indelibly. And then mean Rachel just, like, is like, they called me crazy! I'll show them how fucking crazy I can get. And they say she starts demorphing on the roof and then falls down and starts thought speaking to them. As soon as I demorph, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And they're like, get her before she demorphs. And she's like, no!
And somehow they don't. And she, like, is in half morph and is, like, holding Marco with half human, half fly arms and has a proboscis on his face to strangle him. Like, shit gets fucking wild in this book.
So they try to restrict her, but she kind of, like, bats them all away. And her final gambit is she grabs Tobias and is, like, ready to shake him. And is like, I'll fucking kill you if you do this. Sorry, Tobias. I want to smooch you hard, but you understand you're a predator. And Tobias is like, what the fuck is going on? And, like, she's like, I'm the leader of the Animorphs now, brother. And the first thing we're gonna do is whip Marco.
Well, first she wants to kill him, and then she's like, no, we need to use him. Let's just torture him a little bit. And Jake's like, yeah, it's okay. We can do that. You're the leader. Then fucking punches her in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the best part of the whole book, I think.
Yeah, just like suddenly right fist, left cheek, and they just start beating on Rachel to hold her down. So they have to knock her out. They leave her in the barn
while they're holding her down. It's wonderful.
And then after that, they just cut away, and it's like, oh, dealt with that problem. Now to walk away from the seizuring girl.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of, like, I think there's a couple more chapters, like, on the floor. Like, there's a lot of moments where it just ends with, like, mean Rachel being like, I'll fucking kill you! I'll fucking kill all of you! But then they all left.
Yeah, and they left her to just continue to rage, I guess.
Yeah.
No, because she's unconscious now.
No, but there's other times where they're just like, and then we subdued her and walked away.
Yeah. I think it's because they're like, I mean, she can morph, so there's no sense tying her up. And it's like, yes, you can still, then she'll have to struggle, and it will take her a bit to get there, at least. Come on.
Yeah. We'll talk about that more next week, though, because our situation is, how would we deal with this in a more intelligent way?
Anywho, they get to the trucks. They have convinced Milquetoast Rachel to help them because there's 3 trucks and only 5 of them without her. So they each, like, split up 1 and 1 on the trucks. Jake and Rachel, Milquetoast Rachel, get into one of the trucks, but then get nerve gassed and paralyzed. So they are being, and, like, all the animals are being collected because it is suspected that they are Andalite bandits. But at this point, mean Rachel wakes up, follows them, and gets in the same truck, and mean Rachel and nice Rachel are caught at the same time, where they have a plan to nice Rachel is like, I'm a Dork-Bajir right now, and if you don't fucking let me out, I'll kill myself, so you can't have my hot, morphing Andalite body, you bitch.
Because a little context, Visser 3 has locked them in, thinking that there's just the one of them, because the other one was a cockroach morph. They locked them in a room that is slowly getting smaller, like the trash compactor scene in A New Hope.
C-3PO! Open the blast doors! C-3PO!
So now, nice Rachel is, like, threatening to kill herself, so that Visser 3 won't get
Visser 3 and his big naked boys break in with their guns, and he's
they're
like,
not Dork-Bajir, they're just human controllers.
They're just naked dudes.
And they're naked?
Yeah.
They're all ex-pro wrestlers, is the craziest thing. Randy Savage is there standing beside Visser 3.
Welcome to Randy Savage ASMR. Randy Savage Controller ASMR.
Jesus Christ.
I'm the cream of the crop.
So, yeah, while that's happening, Psycho Rachel flies into Visser 3's ear and is like, we got the bitch! Osama bin Laden is dead, motherfucker! If you don't let us go, I'll grow 8 sizes too big for your fucking head. And Visser 3 is like, well, dang. But, it turns out, So one of the other teams got the Morph Ray, or the Anti-Morph Ray, and Eric is like, you know what? We can probably use this to put you guys back together.
Nope.
No, you missed a huge detail there.
Wrong. It was Jake and Nice Rachel's truck that had the anti-morph ray on it, and that's why they were the only ones hit with nerve gas. Everyone's able to escape. Jake cleverly hid his cockroach self on the Dork-Bajir morph and stayed quiet so that the two Rachels would have to work together to realize that they needed each other. The anti-morphing ray is still in your hands.
I thought maybe also it was like false information. That's more like just a theory. There's no evidence for that.
It's really like impossible to say. Who knows if it's real or not?
I'm pretty sure they mentioned that they
you.
have the anti-morphing ray to use in this putting them back together again.
No.
Okay,
No,
fuck
it's
off
just-
with that.
I know
Nope,
1,000%
bullshit. We are all just trying to get through the fucking game!
Okay, but like, no, because the anti-morphing ray shows up in book 33, and
They acquire each other. They fucking acquire each other and morph into each other, and they're one again. God damn! This isn't a point.
Is while they're morphing each other, Eric's just there and gives them a shock. That's what it is.
Sexy.
The anti-morphing ray is just kind of forgotten about because, they have to escape being captured by the Yerks. So I can see why you were confused, but don't worry. Anti-morphing ray is still under Yerk control.
Neat.
I was not
cool.
worried.
I think Brayden was a little bit worried.
I thought it was like a stupid MacGuffin that meant nothing. The summary for this one felt like a lot, not when I was listening to it, but like when I was reading it, it felt way longer. Because it's just like, I fucking hate this book, you guys.
Because so much happens, and like you're switching between the two characters, and like there's the two different discrete fights, but also all this bit in the middle where they're like testing Nice Rachel while she's at school to see whether she has a sense of duty or not. And then Nice Rachel goes to meet her dad to spill the beans about the Yerks, and then decides
But
not
like
to.
none of that matters, which is the worst part. It's like it doesn't matter at all.
No, it's just kind of all filler.
Yeah, in fact, the only thing that was of any interest was the anti-morphing ray plot, which was like 3% of the book.
But like I said, like all the patrons will see in the notes, I very much focused on, in my reading of this, like just all the cool, like a bear driving a Mercedes, and just like the comedic ways in which they just took these two characters to the logical extremes. I thought it was very fun.
It was a really fun book. I really enjoyed it as well. Just like, the bear fucking drifting a Mercedes around this BRI testing facility where they're like shaking a bunch of genes to see how long they're gonna last, and then fucking mowing down Dork-Bajir. Just Dork-Bajir go flying off the hood of this car. It's like, why does this series always have such good car scenes? Like, we have the great bit with the trash cans. We have Elfanger with his hoof and some Dr. Pepper just driving around in a yellow convertible. We've got the cow tipping in the truck. Like, it's just perfect.
I mean, everybody likes something that's not supposed to be driving a car.
It's true. It's just funny.
I hated this book so much. I can't even laugh about that part. The part where she's like, "Oh, you can stick a claw in and it starts car." It's like, first of all, no, you can't do that.
But also, second of all, I don't think bear claws are 6 inches long.
Well, regardless,
Like,
I mean,
that's wrong.
I mean, that's a small part of the problem, I guess. I just think, like, from a like critical point of view, this is like the laziest, most anime serial shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
What the fuck do you think is wrong with anime?
It's like a bottle episode where a 5-year-old has to understand what like inner conflict as a concept means. That's what it felt like to me. It's like, hey, you know how like people are complicated? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, here's a shitty metaphor for 95 pages about how people are like conflicted about different sides of their personality. Anyways, Rachel drives a car as a bear.
It's so cool. This book has some like really good lines. Like, it's, I get what you mean, Mikael, about how the Valley Girl talk gets annoying off the bat, but I mean, I've read several books, not just YA, but also adult, but like from points of view of different characters where they switch every other chapter, and the character voices sound so similar. This book made sure to make the characters sound incredibly different. Like, Mean Rachel says, "You watch it, old man." I replied politely. Like, that's so funny. Like, that's so stupid and so funny. And then, like, at one point, Nice Rachel is an Animorph flying, and she's like, "Here's the thing about flying. You're up in the air." Like, that's so
I can't believe you guys are okay with this shit. Like, don't you feel like it was a complete waste of your own personal time? You could have been like, I don't know.
Recording a different podcast?
Literally,
Like-
what would I have been doing, Mikael? What do you think in my life is so much better than
just-
rereading Animorphs books?
I just think this is like, at least the Helmicron one was like so dumb, like on every level. Whereas this was just like,
I was just
it's not fun dumb, it's like shitty dumb. I can't believe it was not written by a ghostwriter either. That's crazy to me.
10 books.
Well, it was written by the primary authors very quickly.
Yeah. Or so we've said.
Or so we've said. This is something I read on the internet, and I didn't really fact check it myself, because I'm not that kind of person.
Also, there was some really gross, like, gender stuff in this one.
Oh, yeah, no, it was really
Rachel,
gross.
like, quote-unquote nice Rachel, is like, maybe I should sleep with that kid so he's not mad at me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yep.
is that a thing that people think? And also, like, I don't know. Like, I felt like Rachel was definitely a strong character to look up to. Like, this is gross. Where are the good parts of Rachel? Like, are there no objectively standalone good parts of Rachel? Is she constantly in inner conflict at all times?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like a chemistry thing where you split the oxygen and the hydrogen, and so now they're both airy gases. But once you put them together, that's when you get water.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all.
Like,
at all.
I agree.
How
'Cause,
are-
like, it was, wasn't like, yeah, like we didn't have, I don't know. Both of these parts seem to be lacking a bit of the Rachelness. Like you said, like, I know it's written in the 90s, but like, come on, don't go on a date with a guy because you want to say sorry. Like, that's awful, and no one should do that.
Also, like, when she's talking about boys and she's like, Jake was there. He's my cousin. He's cute. Kind of big. I mean, if we weren't cousins, ...
Right?
And it's like, wait, how is that? Like, and that was the supposedly intelligent version of Rachel.
I mean, they were both intelligent. It was just like, only one of them had a sense of duty, and only one of them had short-term planning, and only one of them had long-term planning.
I wouldn't say either of them were particularly intelligent, honestly.
I think I said they both had the same amount of intelligence.
No, I would say that nice Rachel is far more intelligent. Like,
Which also doesn't make sense in the canon, because in book 13, she was nominated and won that special studying award, so we know she was good in school. Where was that Rachel hiding?
also, regardless, like, nice Rachel could, see more than 1 second. Like, mean Rachel was like, I can't even picture what'll happen 5 seconds from now. Like, that's bad, right? There was really no evidence of any kind of intelligence in mean Rachel, as far as I could tell.
I mean, that's just focus. I don't know if that's necessarily intelligence. Anyway.
I mean...
At the very beginning of the book, before Rachel gets split up, I think she's kind of lonely and she's walking on the beach by herself. Like, she's like, I guess my mom says, I'd probably give off something what my mom would call bad vibes. People don't really like me. And she's just wandering around the beach by herself. Like, girl. Aw.
Sorry, what does that have to do with her being intelligent?
Nothing. I just wanted to change topics.
Okay, you're sick of it. Okay, got it.
I don't know if I'm sick of it. I just, we kind of like...
I feel like I'm not the only person in, like, the fandom that hates this book.
No,
Like,
you're definitely
I feel like this
not.
is up there with the Helmicrons as far as, like, universally considered super
I
dumb.
definitely hate the book.
Okay. I can't even ironically enjoy it, though.
But, like, doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it.
I mean, I didn't enjoy it ironically. I enjoyed it because it was just dumb fun.
Well, yeah, that's
I mean,
what
was it?
enjoying things ironically is.
Is that ironically? I thought ironically you had to, like, have a smirk on your face and be wearing a beret the whole time.
Do you own a beret?
I mean, Brayden was wearing a beret. I don't know about you.
I mean, I was wearing a beret, but not on my head.
I was going to say that.
I like it. There's a line late in the thing. This is totally unrelated. but where the room starts shrinking, and I think it's nice, Rachel, that is narrating. She's like, okay, but the
Do the
ceiling
voice.
was
Do the
slowly
voice.
descending. No, I can't. It was slowly descending. No, I'm not going to. The ceiling was slowly descending. The back wall was simultaneously moving forward. It would have been impossible in a normal room, but the Yerks had the technology.
But also
Very
they
good.
didn't need to have, but like, what? Okay, so what is the purpose of this room? Like, Visser 3 goes up to the Council of 13 and was like, here's my budget for this BR, like this anti-morphing ray base that we're going to take it to. Also, I need to have $13,000 to build a room where the walls and the ceiling can move simultaneously. And one of the council members is like, what do you want to use this room for? Oh, for like crushing Andalite bandits to threaten them so that they would give their Andalite bodies over to the Yerk Empire. Oh, okay, but like Visser 3, if you just make the wall move, won't that be enough? No! Both the wall and the ceiling must move simultaneously.
Yeah.
It'll be impossible in a normal room, but I know we have the technology.
We have literal lasers. Like, you don't need a fucking ceiling crushing machine thing. Like, fucking hell.
And they'll
Oh
never
my
turn this
God.
book into a TV show episode. Let's do it!
Actually, you know what would make that really good is the fact that at one point they mentioned that Goosebumps is like a series of books in the Animorphs universe.
Yep, that's cool. I like
Oh.
that.
I loved that little moment. That was great to hear.
Yeah, that was very good.
Okay. Also, so the amount of times they get out of scrapes by threatening Visser 3's life, you'd think the Visser would have tighter security, like in and around his person?
Also, how many times have they used the chi to like replace them? Because in this one, it seems like it's like, yeah, we just do this shit all the time. The chi come in and like replace us all in our homes so our parents don't get suspicious.
But like, I don't know why they did this for this mission part in particular. Like, they did it in book 25 when they went to the North Pole, which makes sense. But in this one, you're just doing a night mission? Like, come on.
They were gone for like 3 hours. Like, yeah.
Less, because none of them were even like, okay, also, this is the part when they're in this room that's slowly crushing them, they demorph to human. Yeah, the Yerks have never thought about, like, they have the technology to make a room get smaller, but they don't have security cameras. Like, okay, let's lock an Andalite bandit in here and never check up on it.
Listen, the room cost $13,000. They didn't have enough left in the budget for the security
That's
cameras.
true. That's true.
Jesus. I hate the part at the end too where it's like Cassie's like, oh, Rachel, you want to go for a walk and like talk it out or whatever? And then she's like, actually, I'd rather go with Tobias. And he's like, the two of you with the two of me. And I fucking clawed my eyes out and died and was reborn just to be angry about it on this podcast. I hated that part so much.
I really hope we read another book that you like, Mikael, because I know we've had a run of stinkers. Basically, ever since the Dork-Bajir Chronicles ended, you've been like, I hate this book, I hate this book, this book's dumb.
Okay, the last one was pretty bad also. Fucking Nazi Tom. The knife puns were the only thing that saved that episode.
It literally, I mean, not to like go back into 2 weeks ago, but like, what were you gonna do with the dead body, Tom? What were you gonna do with the body of your dead dad, Tom? Like, exactly. What the fuck?
Exactly. It's terrible. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess we should probably, before we run out of time, do our OTP alert.
OTP alert! Oh, so many. So many moments.
Because there's like quite a bit in this about Rachel's relationship, especially to Marco and Tobias. And I'll be totally honest, Brayden, and I hate saying it as much as you hate hearing it, but I'm getting sick of Marco.
It's like, he's gross in this book. I was going to say episode, but yeah, he's like a little too gross. Like, now Tobias can have one and I can have the other. Like, that's a really gross way to put it. I know it's a joke, but dude, come on.
Yeah, he was also, wouldn't you want that one? And wouldn't I want... It's like, she's right there.
It's like, also, like, you can't just call dibs on a person. You can't just call dibs on a person. And, like, about what, you see both of them, and he's like, I have a joke about bodies, but I need Axe to protect me before I say it. It's like, come on. Come on, bud. I know you're 13, but come on. Be better than this. Can't you see the bright, clear line that you should not cross?
At one point, Cassie's like, what do you think of Marco's looks? Didn't we went over this, right? And she's like, he's like cute, all right. And it was like, oh God, because that means that is part of her personality, but she just doesn't talk about it. So on the one hand, it's me and my like sort of militant Rachel Coe agenda.
Like sort of the only reason you're still part of this podcast, I think, is to push that agenda.
And then the other part is just like, oh, I hate I hate everything happening in this book right now. I want to burn it and heat my house. It
was finally revealed that, yeah, some part of Rachel thinks that Marco is cute, but it wasn't satisfying.
Yeah, because it was like, and also the idea of like, oh, now I can have one and Tobias can have the other, according to Marco. But it's just like, oh, so you don't give a shit that she's like this fucked up mutant personality? Like
that's just gross. Like, I know it was a joke, but come on, bud.
Ugh.
Come on.
Ugh.
Ugh. And then, like, Rachel thinking that Jake was cute was also weird. Weird.
Yeah, it was just like, well, she also thought, like, I'll sleep with Bailey to make him not mad at me, which is like...
Yeah, it wasn't sleep with, you fucking
weirdo. I'll go
weirdo.
on a date with him.
So I'm gonna have a fucking key party with Bailey. Just because...
Oh, I will say Rachel is called a witch a couple times in this book. I don't think that's the word these teenagers really would have used.
No, they think she casts spells.
That's how she turns into animals.
In name redacted, state redacted, they still believe in that stuff. I believe, that's my theory. I'm doing my predictions right now. Book 33, Rachel gets burned at the stake.
How did you know?
They go back in time to the Salem witch trials.
Books are art, Rachel's burned at the stake.
Books are art, witch.
Oh!
Okay.
Yeah.
Just, it's like, I'm looking at my notes and I'm just like, I hate it. And I all my notes are literally just, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Rachel drives.
Yeah.
I hate it, I hate it, I hate it.
Fuck this book. Fuck this book. Tie this bitch up for fuck's sake. Yep.
Nah, I like this. This is like the Room of Animorphs books.
Yeah, but, okay, have you actually you've watched The Room, of course.
Several times. Oh, hell
it's bad. Like, it's not enjoyable bad, and once the joke lands that it's bad, it's just a fucking drain to watch.
That's why I never want to watch it, because, like, I don't have fun laughing at bad movies.
The more I learn about The Room, though, the more, like, interesting it is to, like, see. Like, did you know that the same night he wrote The Room, the screenplay, he wrote The Room, the play, first, and said it was based on that screenplay to be able to, like, sell it as based on a screenplay, because he thought that would make it look better? And he honestly thought he would get he thought he could get an Oscar nom off this thing. He kept it in theaters for so long.
This book is tearing us apart as a family. We need to move on.
You're tearing me apart, Wimp Rachel. No, you're tearing me apart, psychopathic kid at the beginning under no parental supervision. Also, so then Rachel demorphs and this family with this terrible child is just there, watching her demorph.
Just licking their lips. It's one of those, they're actually just like, they're all actually jerking off, so they're like, well, we won't tell our thing if we don't tell yours.
Do you think that when, like, nice Rachel meets mean Rachel, and mean Rachel is, like, sucking Marco's face out with the mutant proboscis, she's like, nice Rachel's like, I didn't do it. I didn't. Oh, hi, Jake.
I did not. Oh, hi, Jake.
Anyways, next week, in our bi-weekly episode of The Speaking Tree, we'll be talking about how we would have handled Rachel's split better and less stupidly.
Like, at all. Literally at all. Literally any handling at all.
And Jeff Daniels will be there. We'll also talk about if we had a twin that was the opposite version of us, how would we deal with that? And finally, we'll talk about how we would use a starfish morph for doing shit that we wanted to do. Oh, and predictions, of course, for the next book. Tessa, where can people find more of our stuff?
You can find more of our stuff on our podcast page at collectivelegacy.org or on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, or at the newsroom. There is actually, if you watch the very first version of the newsroom that Mikael mentioned, and you put together the hidden background clues, you can find the title to a web page where all of our episodes are linked, both the past and the future.
Aaron Sorkin was actually the very first fan of the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
He's really the reason that we've been able to keep this going for a year and a half.
So,
Thanks,
Aaron, remember to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and also stop writing women with, like, male names, like, being fucked into the right way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to masturbate to, but, like... You
just
know,
in, like, the whole, the way the culture is now, I think we've moved past that.
we're still always going to be masturbating to it. And I think, Aaron, you're really missing out on, like, not writing porno. Like, you could write, I would love to see an Aaron Sorkin porno.
Okay, what if Aaron?
Oh my god, we're not
Aaron
diving
Sorkin,
into
Andy
our
Serkis
respect script
porno.
for Sorkin's porn films.
Aaron Sorkin,
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, because their names are kind of similar, I think it could really get off the ground.
If you'd like to jerk us off financially, you can go to our show's Patreon page, patreon.com/DORKBAJIR.
If you want to be our horny little pay piggy, we offer special bonuses for patrons, like access to our Discord server, Animorph essays written by us, and if you're good, maybe we'll step on your balls a little.
I mean, that's only for, like, the higher level patrons. But, all the patrons that are at Dork-Bajir level or higher, we give them a little Animorph style title as a thank you. So, the ball stepping patrons, you'll definitely get this as well.
Started off, big thank you to Martha Urquhart, the angry version.
Ace Chaves, the nice version.
Greg Della Posta, the slightly off version?
Mariah Wamby, the kid who cut the starfish in half with a shovel.
Zachary Vaudo, the Randy version.
Shanna,
the cream of the crop.
Steam Driven, the version of Bailey that actually is killed by Rachel.
Michael Armenta, one of the knives used to pin that girl down at the mall that we never talked about,
Oh,
but
yeah.
was horrifying.
That was buck wild, actually.
Anyanka, the Jinko jeans.
Andrew Vila, the Grizzly Joyride.
Max Anicut, the one earring that didn't fall into the tide pool.
For the Fanmail, my name is Mikael, the host.
I'm Tessa the expert.
And I'm Brayden, and I am reunited with myself. I am full, whole, both horny and angry.
And for the Fanworths, I just want to say about this book, I didn't like it. I didn't.
Oh, hey, Brayden, how's your sex life?
I don't want to talk about it. Yes, I do. So, okay, I am having sex. Right now, actually.
I knew it. I could tell from all your lustful gasping.
Hi, hello, welcome to the ad for the show. I'm Mitch, the host of Wank Talk Radio. On this show, I talk to interesting people about interesting things. Do you need to know more than that? Okay, fine. Pretty much we'll talk about whatever my guest is interested in or passionate for. Sometimes it'll be silly, sometimes serious, sometimes a bit of both. Whatever the topic is, hopefully we'll find a way to make you that much more of an expert about it. You can find us at collectivelegacy.org, along with some other equally awesome shows on our network. New episodes of Wank Talk Radio are every Sunday and Thursday, wherever you find your podcasts. Let us know what you think on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wank Talk Radio. That's WENGH Talk Radio.
Wank Talk Radio. Brought to you by
Collective Legacy.
a podcast network.